It is the Mosley Show, and let's put a little light on this subject. There we go. Oh, look at that. Let's get it good and light. There we go. As we start the show today, taking you 2 hours, and excited to tell you about, at about 2:20 today, 2:25, big interview with Scott Drew. If you're a Baylor fan, we're going to get into where the NIL is. Is Baylor middle of the pack? Where is Baylor on NIL? You know, I'm going to kind of quiz him on, could they bring in like an NBA type GM, like what Indiana did today? Scott has been forward thinking on some of his analytics and other things. And so we had a lot to get to today. And so again, I got to say, Kevin, I was just saying this to Scott, a minute ago. I just feel like, and it's a credit to him. I think people that aren't in the business, that aren't in the media, don't interview people regularly like this, they always think, oh my gosh, when they're having a horrible season, I bet that's awful. I bet, it's tough to interview somebody like that. And I just never think of it that way. In fact, I think some of the more interesting stuff, like I always wanted the Dallas Cowboys to be either really great or really bad, just not in between. Something that either, something that really brings a lot of emotion, not go 500, which, by the way, I think they had 3 straight 8-8 years under Jason Garrett at some point. And Kev, we did, and again, I'm going to get to the big news. I feel like we should have like a big American flag up or something. Maybe I'll sing the national anthem. I mean, I got caught up in it. It was unbelievable. The excitement of yesterday morning. It may have interfered with my church attendance. It was awesome. But Kevin, we'll start with it, but remind me to come back and hit some of this Cowboys news. Because just, as we were kind of going about our weekend, Cowboys signed a long-term deal with their running back. All right, Javonte Williams. And so we will need to kind of get into that. We'll look at the deal that they made. And quite honestly, it looks pretty good to me. I mean, it's not like they set the market, oh, he's the highest paid running back in the game. No, it's a fine deal. Nothing about it. There we go. Alert. Cowboys extending Javonte Williams. And of course, everybody's kind of looking out there. Look, Kenneth Walker III. They're not going to tag him. He's going to be out there, the Seattle. And I think Javonte Williams, based on the season he just had for the Cowboys, would have been very attractive to other teams. There are other running backs out there, Rico Dowdle being one of those, who used to play for the Cowboys, had some great moments this year with Carolina. One of them happened to be against the Cowboys. But Kevin, when in doubt, we always start with the old Dallas Cowboys. All right, especially with all that Twitter crowd out there gathering around. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Sometimes we'll look in there and we'll see 2,000 to 5,000 people just kind of gathered around, hanging out. I think the guy had a great year. He runs hard. He's fast enough. He's elusive enough. He's a good lead back. Why in the world wouldn't you want to go ahead and get something done with him? I mean, we've seen what it looks like when you kind of go into a year with Zeke and Rico, and they did finally turn Rico loose late in the season. He had a good season. He had over 1,000 yards, but it was too late, and then he was gone. And then he goes and helps Carolina go to the playoffs. And they say, well, Matt, didn't they just win like 8 games or something, or 9 games? Yes, but again, I think technically they made the playoffs. Kevin, am I right about that? Did the Carolina Panthers make the playoffs? I just think it was just such a horrible division, and that's really the way they did it. All right, Tampa and Carolina, they're playing for the chance to be in the playoffs. Anyway,
to be fair, Tampa
didn't make it.
Got terribly injured throughout the season, but
we don't need to be fair.
We always do.
Fair. No, we don't need to. They still had the same quarterback and a lot of the same people. And you know who else gets terribly injured every year? The 49ers. Do the 49ers somehow make it into the playoffs and play in these huge games like the NFC title game? The answer is yes. All right. Big show plan for you. So Javonte Williams, Kev, love the move. Think it's good. Think it's solid. You get something knocked out. Maybe this provides some momentum. Stephen Jones saying earlier today, telling Judy Batista with the NFL Network that, and I'm sure they ran into each other at like league meetings or something, if I had to guess. And he told, or maybe he went on with her, I don't know. But he told her that they were going to put coming up in the next few days, the franchise tag on George Pickens, but that they love him. They want him. They want to get something done. And just a reminder, the franchise tag is sort of a placeholder. Now, yeah, they could, if they don't get him signed by, I think mid-July or mid-June, mid-July. Anyway, they don't get him signed by this summer, then he'll play for $28 million. Great money, but a guy that had the incredible year that he had is wanting a long-term deal. He's wanting something similar to what CeeDee Lamb has with the Cowboys, which is, about $34 million a year. All right, that's what Big George is wanting. And, hey, if he got there on the free agency market, maybe somebody would give it to him. Now, if people called the Steelers, they might say, George, a little bit of a problem. And then even last year, remember George was incredible, going great guns, and then huge game, and it just George got a case of the dropsies. And then it was kind of like, wait, George, what are those routes you're running out there, buddy? The man does not love showing up on time for meetings. Now, if you're great enough, Jerry will then say things like, well, I've been late for some meetings myself. Okay, that's the way. Oh, man. He's already there, Kev. I mean, should we go to him now or should I wait? Because I think you got him. I think you had booked him for like 1:15, but the man, he's waiting in the wings. And I was about to talk about hockey anyway. Let's bring him right on if he's good with that. And that way we can get him back to his business.
That works, man. I was like, take the time. I can listen to the Matt Mosley Show a little bit.
I appreciate it. I started with Cowboys, which when in doubt, always start with the Cowboys. But really where my heart was yesterday, and Kevin told me, he's like, Matt, I reached out to Cam, because I thought with our hockey and stuff, and I said, Kevin, well done. Well done, buddy, because Cam is perfect to have on.
That's not what he said. He insulted me for doing something without his approval, but that's fine.
Well, of course, Kevin, we need to lay some ground rules, of course. Mosley, he's got a stand. He learns from the Parcells school, If everything was, we'd have a team full of exceptions if we didn't have standards,
But I mean, after jumping on Kevin a little bit for not consulting me, I did say I like the idea. Okay, but
let's talk America's team.
Yeah, I would. And of course, the lens you watch through is interesting because you're sitting there watching the Canadians and the Americans, and you're seeing it through your NHL eyes, and like that guy plays for this team, and this guy's at Winnipeg, and we got to, first of all, Cam, how'd you take it in? Was it just at home? Was it a thing where you wanted to be around other people? Was the fair grace around? Like, what was your viewing situation like? And did you have did you put any Team USA gear on? How did you, because you're a guy who likes to put a good hockey jersey on. Maybe it was one of the USA players from the Bruins. I don't know. How did you experience this unbelievable gold medal game?
Well, let's go through the fits first, because I definitely did I've been living in my USA jersey. I've got a couple of them near me. I got the 1980 one on right now. I've got the Mike Ruzioni one. I do have a blue 1980 Jim Craig one. And then just out of reach is the one I was wearing yesterday and Friday and barely took it off, which is not a Bruins player, but a Mass native, Jack Eichel, North Chelmsford, Massachusetts, Boston University. So I rep my local guys, and it was at home. It was just, I went to a bar on Friday afternoon, decent little crowd there. And there were some open around here for the 8 a.m. puck drop. But I wasn't sure like where was actually open, what the snow was going to be like. Turns out we didn't get the snow until nighttime. And you know me, Matt, I'm a pretty intense guy. So I'm like, this would probably be good for me to just sit in the living room, be able to pace, be able to go to the bathroom when I have to go to the bathroom. The Fair Grace did check in a little bit. She watched basically the whole third period in overtime with me, but was checking in. And we watched it from the comfort of our own home. And it was something special, man. It was something special. That was Matt, as a fan, I've done a lot of winning in my lifetime. All right. I've seen a lot of winning. But this was a top 5 sports moment for me. I think that was pretty huge. That was pretty huge for me.
See, I was a 7-year-old, and little Cam at 7 was already watching a lot of this stuff when the Lake Placid Olympics happened. And so I think I have some vague memories of Al Michaels shouting out, "Do you believe in miracles?" And by the way, Scott Drew will do his best Al Michaels impersonation later today on the show. And Cam, you're a man that Locked On Baylor does great numbers. I will tell you, I think you will. And again, you know how Scott can be. He will do the whole what do you call that? Filibuster. He will filibuster you a little bit on answers every once in a while. So you got to kind of really stay on him about things. But I did bring up like IU went and hired an NBA GM kind of guy today. And I brought that up. Hey, would you consider this? And where is Baylor in NIL right now? Where do they rank? Are they in the middle of the pack? Today, we just had a great conversation, but it was also really direct on a lot of things and some positive stuff because they did get a win the other day.
They did.
Like, we're so in tune to wanting teams like the Mavericks. The Mavericks accidentally beat the Pacers. The Pacers you can't lose to the Pacers. You could try, but even the Mavs could not do that. And we're going to make Kevin mad because he's a big Pacers fan. And by the way, Kevin, if I ever insult you, I promise you'll know it. All right. So we may need another word choice on that. Yes. Okay. Yes, because that was the least insulting thing I've done today. All right. But back to this, Kevin. Cam. Last night I had to go back. You have been proud of me. I just sat down because NBC late night showed the game again, and I just sat. It was after the closing ceremonies, which, by the way, I didn't know what was going on there. My wife loved it. There was a lot of Italian opera, and there was some weirdness. And Figaro got involved, and I'm just I got to go to the grocery store. I was like inventing things to go do because the closing ceremonies was kind of freaking me out. Just weird, a lot of weird. But it's at the Coliseum, so that was kind of cool. I will say that. I don't think they gave Rome anything but that. They're like, all the stuff's going to be down here in Milan and Cortina. And we'll go do the deal at the Coliseum. Y'all can have that. The hockey, I watched the whole third period, and even knowing the outcome, I still had those huge anxious moments. And you know what I'm talking about. First of all, you would look up at shots on goal, and it was unbelievable. It was like 42-20, and at one point it was like 35-16 or 17. And at one point in the third period, it was like the first 5 or 10 minutes, the USA got off like one shot on goal. It was like, I know what Canada is saying they're trying to say we outplayed them. Well, they certainly outshot the Americans. All right.
Yep.
But again, it's how many go in, right? But when you look back on it, and like you saw McKinnon, and it looked like that goal was like wide open over there, and he missed it. The play of Hellebuck, and you kind of know his story.
Yeah.
I mean, like I hadn't read that in the past there were maybe in the NHL some huge moments where he didn't show up. I just don't think I mean, you brought up Craig earlier.
Yeah.
We don't have many moments to look back on in our history where somebody did that. I don't know that anybody's ever done what he did.
It was, I mean, the most overused word in sports is unbelievable. But when you watch it back the second time, I think you're probably thinking something is unbelievable the way he's keeping it out. And I'll give you an NFL example. Connor Hellebuck, in a lot of ways, is like Josh Allen. And he's won 3 Vezinas. He won the Vezina and the MVP award last year. Hellebuck did, so best goalie and MVP. And he's got a terrible record in elimination games. He's 1-6 in elimination games, but he's played pretty well in almost all of them. .915 save percentage in those, and anything over 900 in a game of that magnitude is like, for that stretch of 7 games is fairly good. So it's not like he's been terrible, but he's had 1 or 2 that weren't very good, much like Josh Allen against the Broncos this past year. So it would be like, Allen getting to the Super Bowl and throwing for 500 yards and winning a game 38-35. Like, Connor Hellebuck is the reason they won that game. And I do love the whole thing about, oh, well, Canada was the better team and they outplayed them. And I'm like, I'm not going to argue with you. Like, they did outplay him most of the game, but I'll lean on your fandom a little bit, Matt. Pirates, great. Bill Mazeroski, we lost him over the weekend. His team in 1960 in the World Series, I believe, got outscored. It was like 40-18 in the 7-game series, and they won. So it doesn't matter how much you outplayed them if you don't win. And yeah, Hellebuck is the biggest reason why they won. We had the picture up there a minute ago, but that save on Devon Taves with the paddle down is, again, I'm speaking in hyperbole, but it might well be the greatest save I've ever seen, considering the circumstance and the bang nature of it, and the fact that there's just no margin for error against a team like that in that situation. And yeah, you get lucky with McKinnon missing the net. You get lucky with the too many men on the ice call that was not called against the U.S. It should have been a penalty. It should have been a Canadian power play. But what Hellebuck did, it would be like if Josh Allen gets to a Super Bowl and goes absolutely nuclear. But worse yet, it would be like if Josh Allen, there's no real comparison in football, but think about this, Matt. Hellebuck's 1-6 in elimination games, and he's doing it for the Winnipeg Jets. So these Jets fans are watching on like the coldest city on the planet in Winnipeg, and they're like, really? This is the time this guy pulls it out? This is the time the guy's a brick wall in a game 7 when it's against Canada? It's got to be brutal for them. I don't feel, but it's got to be brutal for them.
That's a good point. And there were those moments when he was skating around with the U.S. flag, draped around him over his back. It just brought back those iconic memories. And obviously you've seen the old footage and you've read about that team and you've watched the movie, and to see something, again, those were a ragamuffin, great college players going up against the freaking Cold War Russians. That was a different animal on this deal. These are great players, but still this is a horrible loss for Canada. It's just like, if the Americans had lost, it would have been tough, but American society would all go back to hollering at each other and being mad and putting stuff on Facebook, right?
Yep.
And now we just get to celebrate, and the White House gets to put out something where they dunk on the Canadians. It's just kind of, now let me ask you this. Jack Hughes, sorry. Jack Hughes and then Quinn Hughes, first of all, to get that high sticking and knock out the front teeth and chip. And I had that, by the way, skiing one time. I had that look going down, but it's an unbelievable story. It's like everything you learn about this team, then there's another layer, right? His mom is a developmental coach for the U.S. women that won gold. his mom was a 12-year-old playing with playing on a really good boys team back in the day. And you've probably seen footage of that. Like these are like huge hockey families, but that was just, again, to hear him after the game and the way he was putting it. I think there's this thought, Cam, that, hey, these are all millionaires and again, he was picked first overall. He's a great player, but the patriotism and the love of country was like pouring out of these dudes after the game. And to me, what an iconic photo that's going to be forever. With his teeth, with his tooth, his teeth cracked, and there he is. But what an unbelievable moment for him.
Yeah. And I like your point there about, hearing these guys after the game, because they're unfortunately going to take a lot of criticism for it. Probably not as much as in the real world as what we see online, but these guys really do care about the country and the development of the sport in the country. These guys really feel proud to put the USA jersey on. And we saw it last year with the Four Nations tournament, which was something that, was kind of thrown together by the NHL. Like, we didn't know how seriously these guys were going to take it, and they took it really, really seriously. And so that's why you got kind of this year-long buildup in the hockey community for this coming up. But these guys really, they understand. This is I'm sure something that your daughter could teach you, this phrase, but they understood the assignment. They understood what they were doing. They understood what kind of torch they were carrying for the guys that came before them, for themselves, for the country, and I guess most importantly for the guys that come after them. The U.S. has been the bridesmaid for so long, and they've been bullied by Canada for so long, and quite frankly, it was the one thing that Canada could kind of hold over them in terms of their greatest export is hockey. And I don't know if it's close. And the U.S. finally beating them at their own game, that is a huge deal for these guys. And for Jack Hughes to score it, I said it on the Wicked Boston show today, which was, Matt, exclusively Olympic hockey. I didn't plan for it to be that way, but it just happened to be that way. But specifically for Jack Hughes to score it, you mentioned his mom, his brother's the best player on the team. So there's that. But the reason why the U.S. has closed the gap so much in the last 15 years or so is quite frankly, their financial commitment. And the U.S. National Development Team program, which starts at, U7 all the way up to U20, that can develop these kids for the next level, to get them the best facilities, the best coaching, the best competition, the best tournaments. And Jack Hughes is one of the poster children for that program. He went through it all the way. He, even in his draft year, he did not go to major Canadian junior hockey like most of the top prospects do. He did not go to college hockey in the United States like a lot of the best American prospects do, and still the best prospects do today. He stayed with this program all the way throughout, got drafted first overall, and he is the guy that so many of these young American players will look up to. And there's still questions for him in terms of the New Jersey Devils and, how physically he can play in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And he didn't play well in the Four Nations last year, probably because of the physical nature. But he just scored the second biggest goal in the history of American hockey. That is exactly what the National Development Program can circle and put on their posters and put in their email newsletters for years to come. And when they win the gold again in 2042, there's going to be a bunch of kids that say, I got into this sport because of Jack Hughes scoring that goal and, missing some chiclets and having blood all on his face with the American flag over his shoulders. This is Rocky IV in real life.
Isn't it amazing to think that they fly back, and I think they diverted it because of the storm you were just referencing earlier.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to Miami, but they all start up again on Wednesday. Today's Monday. the other teams at least have gone home,
but this coach has to coach the New York Rangers after this. I mean, what a punishment after winning the gold medal. You got to coach that. You got to be around that team.
I was going to ask you, there was some criticism when he was putting the team together that it was too people criticized him for the way. So you'll know this. Mm-hmm. Who was kind of left off that people were critical of, and why were they critical of Sullivan for the way he constructed the roster? What was the problem? What were people critical of?
Yeah, so I think a lot of hockey fans felt, and I actually felt this to a certain extent too, that they were going too much for grit when really you could just put the 20 most talented players in the country on the team. And some of the guys they missed out on, Cole Caulfield was one, a guy who plays for Montreal, who is ironically enough, or coincidentally enough, a 3-on-3 specialist. He's got the most overtime goals in the NHL since they've gone to 3-on-3 overtimes in regular season games. And it's controversial that they did 3-on-3 overtime for these knockout games, which I don't love them doing that at the Olympics. So you leave that guy at home. He's the most prolific 3-on-3 player in the league. The other one, Dallas Stars, Jason Robertson, most goals by an American the last year. He's got 30 again or whatever it is. He's a terrific player, and they were he's too slow, which is hilarious because the ice rink, as opposed to other Olympics, the ice surface this year was smaller than the NHL rink. And so they thought about having these guys like JT Miller and Vincent Trocheck, who are two New York Rangers who play for the Rangers coach, obviously. And they're guys who have not been having good years. They don't have elite offensive skill. They can muck it up in a tournament where the game does not allow for as much checking as it does in the NHL. And they ended up being somewhat right. I think Cole Caulfield and Jason Robertson certainly would have helped and improved this team's offense. But those two guys, Trocheck and Miller, were integral on the penalty kill. And it's a penalty kill that went 18 for 18 across the tournament. That is a huge reason why they won the thing.
Man, I'm glad you were able to be there, focus on it like you did. I wish you had been over there. Actually, I think that would have been kind of cool. I mean,
I did say
Super Bowl. I'm surprised we didn't send you over there.
I thought about that. I had Corey. I had a couple of phone calls into Corey, see if we can get me out to Milan. Could have got some great content. I said,
good luck hearing back from him.
Would have loved to. Loved to. I did say to the Fair Grace before this tournament, if they don't win the gold medal, we should go to the games in 2030 in the lovely French Alps, so that it would be like we're chasing it together. But fortunately or unfortunately, they have won. So I guess it wouldn't be the same.
All right, and then by the way, last thing, that emotional moment with the guy they called Johnny Hockey, I guess, Johnny Gaudreau, was his jersey was out there. And I remember that story, Cam, but then it brought back, and the fact that his brother also, I'm just thinking of the horrible tragedy for that family, but for his parents to be there and his, his wife and little kids. The toddlers were down there for the picture with their dad's jersey. That was an emotional deal. Johnny Gaudreau, I guess the way they were phrasing that was that he was projected. They told the family, hey, we had him projected to be on this team. Obviously, that tragedy happened, I think, as far back as maybe 2024.
Yep.
But seeing that, man, wasn't that? It was remarkable. But tell me, what kind of player was he? Was Gaudreau? Because I remember that horrible thing happening, but I can't say that I have a great feel for what kind of player he was.
Yeah, I would bet that Johnny Gaudreau would have been on this team. This is the most talented American team ever, so that's no small feat. But he played in a time where they hadn't gone back to best on best yet, and so he missed out kind of playing for the USA throughout most of his NHL career. But he was a dynamic playmaking winger, and so you saw a lot of the Gaudreau prototypes on this team. Someone like Jake Gensel, who's in the middle of the picture there, the blonde, who's a big time scorer for them, or Kyle Connor up top, who didn't play very much, but is a prolific scorer in the NHL. Johnny Gaudreau fits that mold very well, and even better than some of the guys on the team do. Like I think for sure he would have been on this team. That's a guy I got to see play live a lot in college. He played at BC. And he won the Hobie Baker College Hockey's Heisman Trophy. And he was electric, Matt. Like it's tough to say there are rock stars in college hockey because it's a niche sport, but Johnny Gaudreau was one. And that's where he got the Johnny Hockey nickname. And so this moment yesterday, man, it wasn't just a fluke like, hey, this is the friend of a guy on the team. Like he would have been there and in that moment. And he, I think, contributed a lot to the advancement of American guys in the NHL. Like he was still a big part of that in this kind of golden generation. And I came very close to losing it when they had the kids out there on the ice, man. I mean, that what a moment that obviously they'll be able to appreciate years and years later. And, I mean, the other thing too, is I think they were at the Four Nations final, which was in Boston last year. But they lost that one to Canada. And so, the family's done a lot of these kind of things with the Blue Jackets and Team USA over the last year. So I think you'll appreciate this, Matt. Like that's kind of a tough ask to say, hey, can we get you guys out here to Italy to do this? And to a certain extent go through all of this. I know the family loves this to on one hand, but on the other hand, it's two of your sons and your brothers that you're thinking of and you're trying to go there to represent. And, there's that feeling of what if they don't win, and what if, we're kind of going through that again. And, not that it's as tragic as what actually happened to the brothers, but you're like, that would be tough to see these guys, playing for them and losing at the last hurdle. So it made it just a one-of-one moment to see the kids out there and the jersey out there. It was really, really special.
So if you were going to get a jersey now from somebody from this team, who would you want? Jack Hughes because of the golden goal and the 5-hole, or which way would you go?
Man.
His brother, perhaps?
I was going to say, we'll have
out there a lot.
I think it's going to have Hughes on the back. I would probably go. Quinn is one of my favorite players in the league. And it was awesome to see him do it in, the afternoon Eastern time, because he's played in Vancouver most of his career. So it's been a lot of late nights watching him. But I just think he's a phenomenal transformative player. And it's so fascinating to see a kid that's about 5'10", 180 and is the second best defenseman in the world. Like he doesn't get knocked off the puck very much. He's so skilled offensively. But Jack, that is a collector's item if you get the Jack Hughes one, right? Like this is the goal. This is the jersey. This is the moment. It's like having a white Mike Eruzione one from 1980, but I'd go with Quinn Hughes, and who knows, Matt, you know me, I got plenty of jerseys. I might have to get another one.
Yeah.
Commemorate this moment.
Man, I'm glad. It was very exciting. And it again impacted my church attendance yesterday. And I feel horrible about that, obviously, but great to celebrate. And then again, me, not a huge hockey guy. I was watching it again last night. And
that's okay.
Watching it again, knowing it's coming is the cool thing, because like you get in the third period and we all kind of know how this goes. Because I've seen enough Stars playoff overtimes where sometimes you settle in for what could be, additional overtimes, right?
Yeah.
But so you kind of condition yourself, this could go for a while, and then for it to happen so suddenly and so quickly, it could have been over in 30
seconds. Like Quinn had that great chance 20 seconds, 25 seconds in. Yeah, that 3-on-3 though, Matt, That's what they're trying to do. They got closing ceremonies, so 3-on-3. Let's get this thing over with.
Somebody went in there, and I love that. Was it McAvoy or somebody? Like, there was one. Hellebuck obviously was unbelievable in that game, but like, somebody went in there when Hellebuck couldn't get back to it and turned one of those away.
It was
Who was
McAvoy.
that? It was
Yep.
McAvoy.
Boston Bruin, Charlie McAvoy.
Nice.
Boston University Terrier as well.
Could be a jersey too. You may have
Could
to
be.
get several of these. Yeah.
I'm not above that.
Well, I bet, don't you know Aaron and Baxter and Stretch in that gang? There'll be a lot of good hockey talk over there. All right, Cam, appreciate you, buddy. Always great to have you on. Listen to that Scott Drew, and
Will do.
Feel free to use some of it on Locked In, and then it's and then Bears play the number. I think Duke's now the number 1 team in the country. Arizona just beat the number 2 team in the country, so I assume Arizona is the number 2 team in the country. I don't know if you've taken a peek at that yet, but they are coming to Waco tomorrow. So,
Yeesh.
At least Koa is not playing, right?
Yeah, the almost bear Koa Pete. So that could have been a tough pill to swallow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
God, forget all
Koa
these
and
things.
DeBonsa both had them in their final 3 or so, but that's old news.
Who's that European we're looking for? Don't we have somebody from Slovenia or Croatia or something?
Yeah.
7-foot something guy.
Block countries. Yeah. You gotta give me some time to practice the name.
Who's that Arizona State 7-footer that is like can shoot threes and dribble and stuff? Who is that guy from the other day? That's on that. Is it Diop or something?
Diop.
Is his name Diop?
Diop. Yeah, you say it fast. Diop. It's like French.
Jacques. Yeah. Can we
Great
get that
job on
guy to
Mike
transfer? By the way, after my talk with Scott, we do need to get him some more money. I could sense what he was trying to tell me was like, we got to have some more cash. So we'll reach out.
You can get Chip on the phone.
We'll get everything. Certainly don't know who that is. Okay, buddy.
Thanks, Matt.
All my best. I'm glad what I told Kevin to do this morning, get Cam and get him immediately.
That's great coaching right there.
Appreciate you, buddy.
That's great coaching.
All right. There he goes. Cam Stewart on the old Mosley Show, and excellent stuff. And Cam is a resident hockey expert, just a tremendous guy to have on in that with everything that just happened. So excited about it. We'll continue to talk about it today. I'll get back into it maybe at 2, but next it is time for some Campus Confidential.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. When it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. But with the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. If you get a call saying they're going to lock you in jail for missing jury duty unless you pay a fine, that's fake. Scammers use scare tactics to force you to act without thinking. Just hang up the phone.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
It's the President's Day sales event at Ellen Samuels, and we're making history. Right now, your choice, a brand new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Sahara or Gladiator Sport, $10,000 off MSRP. Or step up to adventure with the 2025 Gladiator Rubicon or Mojave, $13,000 off MSRP. Plus, drive home a new 2026 Jeep Compass Latitude for $29,890. Big capability, big savings, limited time. Shop us in Waco or online at ellensamuelsdcj.com.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
whypersonalloans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit personalloans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit propmoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
It is the Mosley Show. And, man, sitting here looking at Stephen Jones talking a little bit today. In fact, Kev, I'm sending you some of that as we speak. See what old Stephen's having to say. Stephen was talking today, and some folks were able to visit with him and get some of that out there. It does look like the franchise tag will be placed on George Pickens in the coming days. And again, that just is a placeholder, and the Cowboys will still have time going into the summer to try to get a long-term deal done. So George shouldn't let his money get mad, and he shouldn't get desperate, and he shouldn't get mad. He should not do some of the things that Micah Parsons did that helped lead to his departure, which was try to go get a deal done yourself, then say you didn't. And again, a lot of that was Jerry's fault too. Not saying it was Micah's fault, but the whole thing ended up being a mess. And I guarantee you, Micah's agent did not want him up there alone with Jerry. So there were a lot of people at fault in that one, again, including Jerry Jones. Now, after that, some of the things Micah did, including napping on a trainer's table during a preseason game, were ridiculous, okay, and childish. But these things happen, all right? He'll maybe grow from it, and he'll be able to move on with his life now that he makes an ungodly amount of money per year to rush the quarterback, which, where did he end up? Let's see. The top receivers make about 36, 37 million a year. I think our man Micah ended up making somewhere in the neighborhood of about 45 million. If I'm not mistaken, the highest paid non-quarterback ever. Maybe even more. Did he get more than that? Like 51 or something?
44.
44. All right. I was around there. All right, Kev, since you're already with me, let's do this right now. Thank you, CNB. Thank you, Central National Bank. Wow. Love your new commercials. Love your support of Baylor women's basketball, and love your loyalty to this show. Kevin appreciates it, and that is where we like to do our banking, all right? Especially when Nikki Collins out there working kind of the drive-through. That's kind of fun. You go there and you see a college coach, and she'll be out there, and she does some of the phone banking as well. Sometimes she mans the phones. But Kevin, by the way, I'll leave this to you in case you want to bring it up at Campus Confidential. But I bet you saw the big news involving the Baylor TCU game coming up, the women's game.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay. I'll share that with you in a moment.
Okay.
You start Campus Confidential anywhere you want.
All right. Well, I'm going to start it with Darren Peterson.
That's fine.
He didn't play at all, and then Kansas beat Arizona. He played 23 minutes, scored 10 points, and they lost to Iowa State. Then he played only 18 minutes, and they beat Oklahoma State. And then he played 32 minutes, and they got crushed by Cincinnati. Is his inconsistency of playtime making his team better without him?
Okay, there was a lot happening at the end of that question.
Yes.
I will say that
Is his inconsistency hurting his team and therefore making his team better without him, actually?
No. They're not making him. They're not.
Because when he plays more, they lose. When he plays less,
I get it.
They win.
I get what you're saying. I think that, Kev, they won that huge game against Arizona without him. Okay, we all remember that a couple of weeks ago. You can't have it both ways. He actually responded to some of the criticism, and he played in that game. And that, I mean, my gosh, was that Cincinnati? I mean, I found myself Saturday, Kev, like, where was this game? I thought at first, I'm like, it had to be in Cincinnati, right? And I'm like, no, it's at Fog Allen. What was the score? They beat them by how much? I mean, they beat them by, 15, 16 points? I mean, it was one of the worst losses at Fog in a long, long time. And now it does feel like Kansas is in a little trouble. So the answer to your question is absolutely right now they're trying to integrate him and remember how to play with him, because it's been so inconsistent, and he'll play a really good first half and then not play in the second half, and they never know if he's going to be there or not. And it has obviously been a problem. Now, if Peterson will commit to playing, they can figure this out. It kind of stinks to have to figure it out on the run, but my gut tells me there'll be more moments, maybe even in the tournament, where he begs off. What he's doing is completely bizarre and borderline unprecedented. I looked at players like freshmen. I looked at this morning, Kevin. I'm glad you brought this up. I didn't even know you were going to lead with this, but I happened to look it up. And the question was like players that missed a ton of games for their team their freshman year, and kind of what those teams did. Now, the most, and I don't think this guy was like Darren. I don't think he was choosing not to play. I think, unfortunately, he just had an injury. But really, one of the most ever was Kyrie Irving at Duke, who missed 19 games his freshman season. All right. And Kevin, that's just not counting guys like the kid at West Virginia playing for DeVries. What is it? DeVries? That kid who went to West Virginia and only played in a few games and missed all the rest of the year for injury. I don't think that was a choice. I think he was truly injured. We just don't know with Peterson, because some games he's there, some games he's not. My gut tells me Kansas is not going to be able to reach its potential because of what you were just talking about. Because when he doesn't play, Melvin Council and Badunga, and even that, who's that he's kind of big. He's like a 6'8". He's a big bruising guy. They've had this guy that's arrived lately and is getting better and better. So it's a very strange thing. Here's the thing. Let me explain it this way. Their best chance of just winning normal games would be without Peterson. Their best chance of winning it all is with Peterson, but it's going to require Self to somehow get everybody on the same page, because as Bill's explained, Kevin, and you've seen him do this, when he plays, Melvin Council and who's it on the guard I kind of like? Elmo Jackson or something. How do you say his name? Something like that. Marco Jackson, they all defer to Peterson, so they don't quite play as well. It's kind of like Rob and VJ were doing when Jeremy Roach would play, which was not that often. But when he did play, they were kind of deferring. Hey, this guy came from Duke. Oh, this guy played in the Final Four. This guy's older. We need to defer to Jeremy Roach. Well, Jeremy Roach wasn't any good. Now, Darren Peterson is extremely good, but he kind of comes and goes. Like, he actually played for over 30 minutes in that game the other day, but didn't play that great. And then the players didn't really respond to him. So anyway, Kevin, I'm sorry. I went on that soliloquy But that's kind of what I'm saying is there's two different things working. And I think Bill Self's trying to figure this out. It's like, totally agree with you. They're in some ways better without him, but their ceiling is much higher with him. The only chance they have, in my mind, of an extended long run and winning the championship is with him. But right now, they're not even great with him. So I don't know what will happen. I don't know. In a lot of ways, this is unprecedented. There was one other freshman I looked up who missed a ton of games, but it's just not coming to mind right now. Cole Pete's missing games right now with a lower leg injury, but I think, I think the kid's proven he'll play through just about anything. I think they are being smart with him. And hey, if you can go to University of Houston and beat freaking Kelvin Sampson without Cole Pete, then, rest him if you need to. Baylor's had to do that with players. Oh, gosh, poor Langston Love, they had to sit him forever. Cryer used to miss so many games. Baylor's had to do that with really good players and try to give them time to come back. The maddening thing for Bill Self is just that from game to game, he never knows what he's going to get from Peterson.
I was curious because I know that you've been in spite of all the odds, a big supporter of Darren Peterson and what he is capable of, even heading into the next level. And I think from my perspective, all of this shenanigans is really hurting his draft stock. Although I do find it a little entertaining from a Pacers fan that the Pacers are second in the draft right now, just behind the Sacramento Kings, who are still looking for a point guard to replace Tyrese Halliburton. That leads us, though, to the new rankings that just came out, with Duke taking over the number one spot after beating the number one team. Very entertaining, to have these top four teams all play against each other at this point in the season, but it doesn't probably affect the rankings and the seeding that much heading into March, at least at this point. What do you think of these rankings? Who is deserving? Who should have been there? Shouldn't be there? What do you think?
I'm fine with the top three. I mean, Duke did beat Michigan, and that, it was more of a slugfest than it wasn't the high level back and forth in transition, everybody hitting a bunch of threes. Now Lindenberg was awesome in the first half. He only had 5 points in the second half. I'm trying to think, where did Lindenberg play earlier in his career? I was just looking at this yesterday and now I've forgotten. Anyway, he came from a mid-major, I believe. Yeah. And it's beyond, I don't understand why some teams hit huge on a guy like Lindenberg, and then Baylor whiffs on a guy who basically averaged about the same. Lindenberg, wherever he was averaging 17, 18 points a game. That's what the kid at Oregon State was averaging, playing for Wayne Tinkle. Talking about Michael Ratai. Some of these things baffle me. Now, what I don't understand...
He was at UAB.
Okay, yeah. He was good. He was good at UAB, but he was not 20, 25 points a game or something. And they bring him in, and he is awesome at Michigan. Okay, now they got other players. Oh, and by the way, their point guard, who had a rough game, and it was one of the reasons they got beat. He had a big three late, but he had struggled. Elliot Cadeau from the field. If Rob had, if that's who Baylor would have had. I think I've said that on here before. Baylor would have had Elliot Cadeau because he had Bill Armstrong had coached him at Link. And I think the kid wanted to come play for Baylor, but Baylor had Rob. And they had to say, sorry, Elliot. And, of course, he's gone, and he's been great for them. Okay, I don't understand why – who did I watch BYU beat the other night? Didn't they beat Iowa State? Who did they – I stayed up late.
Yeah.
And I watched, I believe, Iowa State on the road against BYU. So it's like BYU got the benefit of that and moved up from like 23 to 19, which is fine.
Yep.
Which is fine. That was a great environment. But
how did
why
Iowa
does
State
Iowa
move up after losing?
Yeah, I don't really understand that. I guess it's because Iowa State was coming off a big win over the U of H at their place recently.
Right. So
By
they've
the
got
way,
to be
U
ahead
of
of
H
them.
never loses 2 straight games. Something has to give tonight as the U of H goes to Fog Allen. I mean, that was – and by the way, U of H never loses at home. Since they came into the conference, I think they had lost 1 home game. And it was to Tech. I remember it. And then they lost the other day to Arizona, man. Arizona's awesome. They really are. I think Arizona's better than Duke? Yeah, I kind of do. But that's fine. That's fine. I bet Arizona doesn't even mind being ranked number 2. Of the rest of them, I think they're finally getting Florida up there where they belong. I think they're finally taking care of Gonzaga. I think they were kind of not respecting Gonzaga because of the schedule Gonzaga plays in its conference. But I think Gonzaga is that good. I think it's fine to have them up there. It's funny to see Michigan State there because I swear every interview I ever see of Izzo, he's talking about this and he's like talking about how much better Ohio State played than them. And I'm like, wait, how is Michigan State ranked there? Every Izzo conversation is about how poorly his team's playing. So why are they number 13 in the country? So that's kind of funny to me. I tell you what I enjoyed about where the committee came up. The committee put out its top seeds. I think they did the top 16. Oh, buddy. Kevin, you have been, even Scott Drew he was kind of excited about you. I'm sorry. And if I slapped your wrist earlier today, I have to take it back. Okay. But this is interesting because, and Jeff Goodman complained about this. I do not like the committee trying to throw out all the stuff Tech has done this season with all their great wins because they don't have JT Toppin. It's almost kind of like what, after Florida State had that great season and then they didn't have the quarterback and they said, sorry, you're not coming to our party. We're going to, and I felt weird about that. We don't really know what Tech's going to be like without JT Toppin. Like, we've seen one game without him, and they crushed Kansas State. Now, Kansas State's awful. I get that. But I am glad the committee, at least for this bracket, rewarded the Red Raiders for having a really good season. Now, let me see who I think is on here that I don't think belongs. I think, I tell you what, Kansas does not feel like a 3 seed to me. They feel more like a 4 seed to me right now. But I understand why they're there. I think right now they're given. Okay, I kind of get it. I kind of don't. That's a rough loss for Illinois the other day. It's not a great UCLA team. I know it was kind of fluky because it was a buzzer beater, length of the court deal, but still. That was a team and a coach that was experiencing a lot of down, and Illinois at one point was up like either 13 or 17 points, somewhere around there in the first half. That's a bad loss. But they may have come up with this going into those games. Now that I'm thinking about it.
My question, and again, this may have been done before this, but Vandy as a 4 seed when they are 25 in the overall rankings, just lost to Tennessee. I guess is that Tennessee. This was done before, maybe before that. I don't know, but that seems a little odd to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when they put this out because if the U of H had beaten Arizona, they would have been a number 1 seed, right? So it had to be after the games.
21st
the other day
on the graphic, 21st there.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Did they come out with it Saturday night after the games?
Right.
Yeah. All right, we'll double check that. But I mean, I don't think Iowa State is a 1 seed. And you know how much I love the Big 12, but who would I put in front of them? I think UConn and U of H is better than Iowa State. And I think I could make an argument that Illinois is too, even though I just kind of hiked my leg on Illinois. Yeah, I would say that if I would not have Iowa State as a 1 seed, and you think Vandy's a little too high there as a 4 seed, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I think what they're doing is they're reminding us all of how much they all really don't love these mid-majors. Like, we all love these teams that get there and win their conference tournament, but they're setting up a scenario here where Miami of Ohio could go undefeated and lose in the conference tournament and be like on the bubble. I think they'd have to put them in, but I do not think they'd give them a good seed at all. At all. There's just not the respect for the schedule they're playing. All right, sir, what else do you have?
So it came out today. I think you referenced it earlier. You probably talk about it with Coach Drew about IU hired Ryan Carr as executive director of basketball for Indiana after 25 years with the Pacers organization and kind of learning under Bob Knight. So my question, pointed as always for Indiana, is what does that mean for the state of Indiana basketball right now that they are doing mid-season hire for this position in this role?
Well, yeah, late season. I
Reminder,
think it's
IU is on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, but they've had an okay. Like, you're being a little too tough on this coach. It's not like the other coaches. Woodson was horrible, and even before him, I mean, you know, did they give Archie that job? I mean, that was embarrassing. I mean, honestly, the guys after Crean have made Crean look better. You know, his era, because I think when he got fired, it was kind of like, well, Crean didn't work out, which he didn't. But there were some decent moments with Crean even. Yeah, you got to take it easy on this guy because he's in his second year and there's a lot to turn around. He does have one awesome player. First year, sorry. Yep. Yeah, he was at West Virginia last year. First year at Indiana, and you're being a little too tough on him. I'll say that for sure. But I like it. I like the forward-thinking schools that go, let's try something. Let's get somebody in here that understands the cap, understands how to put a roster together, understands the salary, understands evaluating players. Because one thing Scott and them do is they put the evaluations on their staff. And that's fine, but I think they've also given the GM at Baylor a lot more say than they're going to give him moving forward, unless they tweak this thing and bring in an NBA type GM. And I brought it up with Scott, and it's probably not very charitable on my part toward Jason Smith. And I hate that because I think he probably has done a really nice job, and we only focus on the misses, right? And so it's like, if there's like a great transfer player, you like credit Scott. And then if there's a bad transfer player like Ratai, you blame it on Jason Smith because we like Scott so much. So probably me bringing that up was not the kindest thing I could have done. But this is now not a kind sport. This is a multi-million dollar, billion-dollar industry. And fortunes are made and lost, and coaches' careers are made and lost on what they can do in the portal and what they can do with their NIL. And if something's not working, you better dang be ready to change it. And the one thing I can tell you, Kev, this will go back to being guard you. Scott is going to surround himself with guards. There are going to be so many guards on that bench you're not going to know what to do with, all right? Right now they've got Isaac. They've got Obi. And really, I mean, you know, Tunde's a wing. He's a big, you can call him a guard if you want, and maybe he's going to be a shooting guard in the NBA. I get that. But he's really a 3-and-D. He's really a wing because the way he's built, how big he is, all of that. He's not a true guard. Neither is Cam Carr. These are high-flying, great athletic wings. All right? And to try to turn these guys into guards, they're just not really. Bottom line is Baylor ended up in a season without a point guard. And thank goodness young Isaac Williams has just, just throughout the season, you had to throw him into the fire. Isaac, get out there and do your best. Good luck to you, son. And if that kid hadn't done it, I am so impressed with how he finishes at the rim, how he's trying to run the team, how he's getting into the paint, making passes. I would call him, start to finish, one of the most improved players in the country. So if we're going to kill him for Ratai and some of these other moves they've made, and Jeremy Roach, let's give them credit for finding some of these guys in the portal. Kevin, this has been great stuff. What else do you have?
Too early to talk baseball rankings? Softball rankings?
No. Give me the baseball. Give me the baseball.
Baylor had a bad weekend, by the way.
I
talked to Tom.
Well, I not only talked to Tom, I monitored the baseball throughout the weekend, throughout all these games, and then checked in to see how Tom and Derek, how they were sounding and what they were talking about. And I would say, yes, they lost all 3 games.
Yeah. But it was against ranked competition. You got to be the best. You got to play the best, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You know where you stand now.
I guess we can take them some Capri Sun stuff and give them some snacks. No, Kev, you raise a fair point. I would say Southern Miss, where are they on here? They're up there at number, in this ranking that you did, I can't see that, 12.
12? Yeah.
That's Southern Miss at 12.
Yep.
Baylor got beat by them. That game was pretty close. They were down 3-1. They ended up losing 5-1. They're not hitting the base. They were 1 for 0 for 11 runners in scoring position. With runners on base, they were 0 for 19. Okay, against Southern Miss. Purdue, they're up 5-0. They're cruising, they're pitching, they're doing their thing, and it's a reminder you have to keep putting runs on the board in college baseball. Purdue comes all the way back. They tie it going to the 9th, and right now the bullpen's having some trouble, and they don't know who can close for them. One of the games, I think, Bunch got in trouble. They might have tried to turn to Murray in one of those games. I'm just trying to think who they've tried at closer. The problem in both those games is they were tied late, right? They weren't out there trying to close the game in a normal spot against so they're 5-5 and they lose to Purdue. They're only down 1-0 going to the 9th against Oregon State. And look at Oregon State up there. Where are the Beavers?
19.
Number 19 team in the country. They ran into one of the best pitchers in the country. Oregon State's a fine team, but their number 1 ace may be the best pitcher in the country. He's unbelievable. And the Bears had to go with their starter had some arm soreness, and they had to go with a lefty, Stefan Stahl, I believe is his name. And Stefan, I'll have to work on that. It's Stefan or Stefan. Anyway, Steph, let's call him, went out there and gave them some great innings in that game. And Bears hung in there, and they tied it at 1 in the 9th, and then they got walked off in the bottom of the 9th because the pitcher, I think it was Bunch, I hope I'm not lying, walked the bases loaded. And so all that fun stuff from that opening weekend and the good win over Texas State feels like it's kind of gone away, right? Now, here's the good news and the bad news, Kev. Take a peek at who they're playing this weekend. Oh, goodness. So the good news is great opportunity. If they win a couple of those games, we'll think great thoughts about them. It's not a fun. It's a rough tournament. It's a rough bunch that they're playing. And let me look for where they're not in this one, but I did see them ranked by, I don't know who does this one, D1. One of the teams in it, Kev, is UTSA, the Roadrunners. Yep. And in one of these
Miss
other,
in Texas. So you got number 25, number 3.
Oh, goodness. And a team that in other rankings is ranked in UTSA. They're 7-0 right now. They just who did this one, Kevin? I just can't. It's too. Oh, on 3. On 3.
Well, I believe it's just the new rankings that came out. So.
Well, see, there's these different. Okay. So there's Baseball America. Not to get too far in the weeds, but there's Baseball America. It's not like AP.
Yeah.
It's Baseball America, or the ones, Kevin, I kind of like is that Kindle, the D1 rankings. Kindle does a good job on those. But anyway, show me the women's real quick, please. Oh, and Kev, do you want me to go? You want me to take a quick break and then we'll come back and talk for a minute before we go to break before Scott? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. We were enjoying campus so much. I've just kind of kept this going. The Baylor women were pretty good. They went 2-2. They went out. I think did they go out west somewhere. They went out somewhere. They went out of town pretty good ways because I was trying to follow some of that. And I just can't remember exactly where they were. Were they in Arizona? Anyway, they went out of town and they were playing Clemson tough. And I think you'll see Clemson maybe, I don't know if Clemson's ranked or not. Clemson is pretty good. I thought the Bears got some good pitching. And one of these teams that's ranked they faced. Maybe Mississippi State. I was just trying to think which team it was. But their ace really went out and pitched well, and that's what it takes. Interesting to me, Kev, that OU to be where it is. I mean, that's the lowest I've seen an Oklahoma softball team in probably 10 years. I thought they had a pretty good weekend, so that's a weird one to me. And but who's that up there at the top? Is that University of Tennessee?
Tennessee.
Wow.
Tennessee, Texas, Alabama,
Arkansas.
Top 4.
Yeah, I had no clue some of these teams were good at softball. Okay. All right. What else I guess do we need to take a break or
let's keep going. Let's do a break at like 2:23 and I'll make it a little bit longer break and then we'll come back with Scott. So game picks for tonight though. Okay?
All right.
2 games tonight and they are rather biggies. So we got Louisville at North Carolina.
I kind of want to pick Louisville. Okay, look at the line real quick, Kev, if you don't mind. I kind of like Louisville because Carolina's missing that great player. Is it Caleb Wilson? Is that his name? The guy who was so awesome against Duke, but he's hurt. And I just don't know when he's coming back. It's not his shooting hand. It's his left hand, but he hadn't been playing. I don't know when he's coming back.
Somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5, depending on where you go for Louisville.
The line.
Yep.
UNC's Louisville, favored?
No, Louisville by 2.5, 3.5. So Louisville, the lower ranked team on the road, is still odds in favor.
Because UNC's best player's out. This is a tough one. That Michael, man, that kid, that freshman for Louisville is awesome. Give me Louisville to cover, Louisville to win.
All right, and then it's Houston at Kentucky. Houston is a 1.5 point favorite. Sorry, did I say Kentucky? I meant Kansas. Houston at Kansas.
Yeah, you got me very confused
My bad.
there.
My
yeah,
bad.
I was just like, wait, what's happening?
Sorry. Midwest.
That's okay. Houston has to go to Kansas after a really tough road home loss to Arizona. Houston never loses 2 games in a row. Houston is a what now?
1.5 point favorite.
Wow. It's
Razor
extremely rare for Kansas to be an underdog at home. It may have happened recently when Arizona went out there. I can't remember. But obviously Kansas won that one. But Kansas is coming off. I bet Kansas was about a 8 to 10 point favorite over Cincinnati, and they got it handed to them the other day. I am going to bet on the fact. I'm going to bet on. Usually in the past, I would have never bet against Bill Self at Fog. But I cannot imagine a scenario where Kelvin Sampson loses 2 straight games. Give me the Cougs to cover the 1.5 or whatever it is, and give me the Cougs to win outright.
All right.
At Fog Allen tonight. And that game is, I guess that's Big Monday. So is that 8 o'clock? Does that look like an 8 o'clock Central start?
Yeah, 8 o'clock for that one. Yep, 6 o'clock for the other one before that.
All right, and this is I'm just losing track tonight. Today is Monday. Okay, okay. So some Big Monday. Did I had a conversation with a major person in women's sports, like huge name. Kev, and we were just kind of talking about like the games they put on Sundays. And a lot of times they'll put on incredible fun games. Yesterday, man, that was not fun to see poor Ole Miss and Coach Yo. They had such a good game against LSU and they played poorly in the fourth quarter, but it was well attended. It was in Oxford. And then on a Sunday at noon, Kev, they featured Ole Miss playing South Carolina. Don't do that. Don't do that, ABC. Don't. I mean, there's other stuff. TCU and Iowa State got into a barn burner. I mean, that was a great game. Iowa State was winning the whole game, and then Olivia Miles turned it on, scored most of her points in the fourth quarter, and they won with she had a triple-double, and they won 80-73. No better than to put South Carolina when they're going to beat somebody by 40 on. Come on now. Come on. Kevin, the thing that I forgot to bring up that I told you I would bring up, Baylor and TCU. The first time the Big 12 women will be featured in College Game Day. Now, this is a relatively new thing that they're sending a game day crew out for the women. But the College Game Day crew headed to Fort Worth, Texas for Baylor and TCU next
we should
Sunday.
Go. We should go.
I don't love what I don't think it sets up well. I think you should go and kind of report back to me. I want to support, and I thought that was senior day. It did not start off well, but they got it done against Arizona the other day, 74-60. Not a dry eye in the house. As for senior day, even Jana Van Geitenbeek's military brother came back and surprised her. I thought that was cool. Celebrating Bugs and Bella and Jana and KJ. I'm trying to remember who all the seniors were. Man, that was neat. That was neat.
Speaking of the women, though,
them go in. Yeah.
Of the 12 U.S. gold medals, how many of them were women winning the gold?
Wait, I thought we had 17. We only had 12 gold?
12 gold. 33 overall. So second overall to Norway. Beat out the home country, just barely.
Norway beat up on us.
Well, yeah. It's always frozen up there, so you just got to let it go.
We have parts of our country that are frozen a lot too.
That's
Let's not
true.
act like we...
Not the whole country like Norway. Norway is always.
I'm surprised. I think we should get more than one though for like our hockey men's and women. Like that should equate to like 5 golds each, right? That's not one gold. That's not fair.
Canada cheated in curling to win their gold, so then we beat them in hockey. That's
good. They can have curling. We'll take hockey. We'll take hockey.
So how many of the 12
is a record for us, by the way.
In winter?
12 gold medals, setting a new record for the most gold medals won by a U.S. team at the Winter Games. That surprises me.
And how many were women?
Of the 12.
Of the 12.
Well, 9. 8.
Nope. It is 8. My wife got it on the first guess.
I was very close.
Mm-hmm.
Was she playing along like from down the hall right now?
You
threw that earlier?
I threw it at her earlier, and she said her commentary was that the men are arrogant enough that they think that they'll have another Olympics. The women think that this may be their only shot. So they play for it more.
Interesting. That's almost like she's a psychologist. I don't know if I agree, but I kind of like the theory. That's very interesting.
She was a high-level athlete, and she's a coach now, so she'd probably be better on here than I would. But
high level, what, at the collegiate level, or
she was on the U.S. women's national team in soccer back in the day.
My gosh, Kevin, look at you, buddy.
I'm married way up.
Is it the hair? Did she fall for the hair or something? I mean, no, it's personality. It's that winsome. What does winsome mean? I think I could use that. It's
whimsical.
Winsome is a word like WINSOM. I'm trying to think if there's an E on the end of it, but I think it fits.
Yeah,
it just popped into my head there. Okay, we've got Scott Drew. And this is how we're going to end the show today. And I cannot wait to have Scott on. And there's a lot of ground to cover. And we appreciate Scott. And so this will be a tremendous interview with Scott Drew. Scott Drew will join us next.
Central National Bank, this is Nikki. How may I help you?
Yes, can you please transfer me to the loan department?
You want to transfer?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, you can't transfer right now.
What?
Have a good day. Yes, how may I help you?
Hi, I would like to transfer money from my C&B account to another bank.
Absolutely not. No. Have a great day.
Wait, hold.
I'm on your website and I'm trying to find the link for your payment portal.
The portal is currently unavailable. Have a great day.
We've received a few complaints.
Correct. We no longer allow any outgoing transfers, only incoming.
But the good news is, no money is leaving the bank. Like, none. Good job.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. us.muc-off.com.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit opengoaalusa.com and elevate your training today.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
The Matt Mosley Show, and it's time for our bi-weekly visit with Scott Drew. Scott, big win the other night. Before we react to the win over Arizona State the other afternoon, Saturday afternoon, you know, you and I are similar age, similar vintage. So we were kids when the Team USA beat the hated Russians. And boy, back in 1980, it was really hated. Okay, we had the Cold War going on, had a lot going on. So we kind of remember the Lake Placid. We have some memory of that, and that was amazing at the time. And of course, those were college players, and kind of yesterday was a little different because you got NHL players, but still, Scott, isn't it kind of cool when, with all the divisive stuff we have in our country, and we're always mad at each other on Facebook or other places, when kind of the whole country can come together and be excited about something? Did you get to take a little bit of it in, or I'm sure you were very excited to see that golden goal?
Well, the first thing I think of, do you believe in miracles? So I love that line. I love the movie Miracle. And I tell you what I really enjoyed. Right before I left for church, I didn't watch much of the game, but I saw the medal ceremony in the very end, and when they brought the two kids out to get the picture with the team, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, Gaudreau is the player, and he and his brother were killed in a tragic accident. And the one you're talking about, the jersey number 14 or the sweater, was he was projected to make the team, and so the team thought about him and kept his jersey, and they had it celebrating on the ice. They had his jersey out there, then brought his two toddlers out, and the wife and the Gaudreau's parents were in the stands. So yes, it was a made-for-TV moment, and bittersweet, obviously, for them, but still an amazing moment for Team USA. Scott, this is a weird transition into, but y'all do have like a team that's been the number one team in the country, and they just beat the number 2 team in the country coming in. I won't call it a miracle that you need, because I think you have a good shot at putting something together. But you see things like that. It has to be kind of inspirational. Does watching film of the Saturday's game and the win at Houston, which nobody ever wins there, does it give you like upset stomach? Does it give you heartburn to watch this Arizona team on film? This is a great team for Tommy Lloyd this season.
He's done a great job, and it is one of those teams that really don't have any weaknesses. And you go down to Houston and you pull off a win. That's just shows you their toughness. And again, to go undefeated as long as they did, 23 games. Now, remember, Coach Mosley, we're really excited it was 23 because the Baylor Bears have a 23-game winning streak, which is the longest in the Big 12. Now tied with Arizona.
Nice.
We also have a 21-game win streak, and we have a 19. So we had 3 of the 5 longest in the Big 12. Now we have 3 of the 6 longest in the Big 12, the other 2 being Kansas's.
Man, I like that. You
didn't know about that, did you, Mosley?
Mosley passing you notes during our interview. My God, you had that right off the top of your head. That's good.
You know, actually, our coaches were texting during that Arizona game that they lost, and that Coach Brooks is the one that first brought it up. We need a loss so we can keep our 23-game win streak as the top of the Big 12.
AB, I'm glad to hear from him.
So he was on point. Impressive.
Yeah, boy, I tell you what, the head coach he works for was Mark Pope. There have been some interesting post-game news conferences. Have you noticed that lately? Our old buddy Gottlieb had one. Pope had one where he kind of he got after him kind of in a passive sort of way. Yes, I would say coaches. I mean, Scott, by the way, I think sometimes people will ask you things like, does NIL put more pressure on you and all that? And maybe in some ways it does, maybe the players, but like the pressure's always been there, hasn't it? It's like, but it is interesting lately because we're seeing some pretty, even the Mick Cronin interview the other night at UCLA, which they had a big win Saturday. Coaches, but again, is it more pressure than in the old days, or is it just the same as far as what you guys are facing?
Well, I think it's more pressure now, and the reason it's more pressure now, I was talking to Coach Izzo about this, and first and foremost, the players feel more pressure because anytime you're making NIL and getting paid, you feel just like if you got a raise, you'd feel more pressure to perform better. And I think players feel more of that now than they ever have because they've never really been in those situations before. And not only do they feel it like within, but I mean, even like I'm sure on the college campuses, I mean, it used to be a scholarship is really nice, but when you're getting paid a lot of money, then all of a sudden now, I mean, college athletes are human and they care what their peers think, and obviously they want to perform for them. But I think from the coaching standpoint, it's even harder because a lot of coaches have been involved in people giving to the NIL or to the collectives. And as Izzo said, they're not, when you've been in a place a long time, they're not donors, they're friends. And it's just like if you ever ask a friend for something and then you don't come through in a way that you feel they might want, which obviously for us is wins, then you feel like you're letting them down. That's even harder than just coaching and losing, you know? So you can see that it'd be very similar to like if you put on a show, you need funds to put on your show. You go to family members, you go to friends. And now if your show doesn't do well and you don't make it, you feel bad for yourself, but you really feel bad because you've incorporated family and friends. That's where the more pressure comes in.
Exactly.
And I mean, even in the pros, you coach in the pros, you have one owner but you're not out there depending on your family and friends to help you with the players.
Did you see this, what Indiana did with bringing in that GM who'd been with the Pacers for a lot of years? That news just came out this morning. I thought about you because you're a real forward thinking. You like the NBA analytics. You've brought people into the program that have some NBA backgrounds. So you like to think about things like that. It's not, so again, this would not be anything totally new to you, but could you see something like that helping you like a long, and I can, by the way, I've got candidates for you because I think I can think of one NBA GM who played at Baylor back in the day and his son played for you, but somebody that could, help allocate the funding, help choose the roster, help work with you. When you see people do things like that, does that appealing to you?
Yeah.
And what do you think of that?
Well, I think it's definitely helpful, and it's something that a lot of us colleges have already gone to. Jason Smith is a GM for us, and in that role where in the previous couple years, like he's the one that would be talking mostly with agents and negotiating, and now more schools are becoming where it's in-house, being done by the athletic department for that part of it. But I think schools, for the most part, have somebody allocated to that, and they whatever their title might be, you have someone on a staff doing that. The difference is, if you look at an NBA staff, you probably have in a front office, let's say 20 people, including scouts, maybe 25. And so your front office is actually bigger than your coaching staff. In college, your coaching staff is bigger than what you would have allocated for a front office. And the difference is, a front office, you have one person in college per se, and with the portal, the way things are, you're changing out half your roster per se, because you're bringing in a lot of older people, so they only have 1 year left, and then you have to worry about people leaving. So let's say 40 to 70% of your roster flips every year, and you have one person in charge of that. In the NBA, maybe 30% of your roster flips, and you got 25 people, or 20 or 30, how many scouts you have and all that. So it is a little different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It's just interesting. I'm just thinking of some of the NBA connections you've had over the years, and it's interesting to see what they're doing, and I can't help but think, okay, that sounds like something Scott might enjoy. So
now going back to your numbers though, like the analytics part, I mean, we've used that since 2014.
Yeah.
So we look at, there's a lot of different analytical sites and places you can get stats, figures, and things like that. I'm just saying, in college right now, until front offices become bigger than coaching staffs, it's different. And I think at the end of the day, your coaches are the ones that are most responsible for the recruiting, because there's a lot more of the coaches than there are in the front office. Now, everybody's got to work together, but I think at the end of the day, the buck stops with what's nice about the NBA though is you got a cap, you got a luxury tax, so you have some fairness and balance, where in college, I mean, it could be all over the place. So I'd imagine if your budget was 3 times someone else's, you would have more bells and whistles, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know what you're going to do exactly, but I know you're going to tweak some things and really study and look at the evaluation process. And if I know you, that's already started. And I would think you have people assigned watching the rest of the country right now, because I know what you're probably about to do to this roster. Scott, where are you all in the NIL right now? Like you obviously have a lot of friends in the business. You'll compare notes on things. You might not always get the honest answer from some folks on this answer, but like, we know it's not BYU probably, and it's probably not Texas Tech, but you know, you have had a lot of support, and you've had donors that want to get involved and help you out and all that kind of stuff. Is Baylor middle of the pack in the Big 12 right now, would you say, from what you know, when it comes to NIL money?
I think without avoiding your question completely, I would think with more information becoming available, I think people have a better idea where they need to be to make sure that they're in a competitive situation. So I think early on, there was a lot more false information out there, and it was hard to get more accurate information. I think most coaches now are pretty savvy and are pretty close to knowing where they are in pecking orders and where they are in total dollar figures. And I think schools knowing what the targets are at the end of the day, depending on how committed each school is and the resources they have, basically can decide where they want to be at. I mean, if you the bigger the budget, the more depth you have, the more talent you have. They're in a perfect world. Everybody's evaluations are spot on, but I think you can also say if the most money guaranteed a championship, well, then every year the pro baseball teams that spent the most would have a championship. And you and I know that doesn't happen every year. In college football, it hasn't happened. So it gives you an advantage and gives you a better probability, but it doesn't guarantee anything. I think you have a couple things now in college basketball because that's what I coach. You have more injuries than you've ever had. And I have philosophy behind that or thoughts behind that. And one, technology is greater, so you find more. Two, I think because players are sports specific driven from a young age, Sports Illustrated called this out, I don't know how many years ago, that you'd have more injuries just because people don't grow up playing 3-4 sports. They don't take time off. I mean, if you're around same muscles, overuse, overtraining, and they break down. Pace, physicality of the game, bigger, stronger, faster than it's ever been. So you just have, I mean, at all levels, I think you have more, and that more injuries, which means the more depth you have, the more you can survive those. Now, some are self-inflicted wounds, meaning some people can get injured not on the court. It could be something off the court, car wreck, whatever. But at the end of the day, that does usually attribute to more depth and more talent. So like your daughter, at the end of the day, if she could go to Baylor or she could go to any other school and money's equal, she's coming to Baylor because I know you and I know your family. But if it's X times, hey, 500,000 more, you can go to somewhere else. I don't know what you'd do or what you would do, you know, $1 million more. I don't know what you would do or she would do. And those are real life questions. So again, the last thing I would say is when anyone gets everything picked right in the stock market, let me know so we can invest with them. And when every team that actually spends the most wins it all every year, then that's definitely the answer. So I'm speaking in circles here because it definitely helps. All right. It helps with talent and depth.
Yeah.
But it doesn't guarantee anything. And nobody gets it right. So your job is to be as accurate and come up with as much assurance as you can on who fits your system, your program, your style. I think all of us are learning too, just how many people can you add a year? Can you flip a whole roster? Like what are those sweet spots? Because this game has really changed a lot in the last couple of years. And that's the fun part is it's something new. But for fix-it people like me, it'll keep you up at night because until you fix it, you're searching to get it fixed.
Maybe we shame people into like, hey, the Mormons are out here spending all these millions. The Baptists need to step up. Maybe we really need to make this a religious. We need to leave more into the religion.
If Matt Mosley wants to pass the plate, that's not a bad idea. But again, at the end of the day, too, a lot of universities are working trying to get to some standard of rules. I mean, we've been waiting on Congress. Some people have talked about collective bargaining, but I mean, I know at some point everyone says this is not sustainable. So a lot of schools have been spending a lot of time trying to, what can be rules that can pass in the court that can be good for everybody to agree with so that we can enforce them. So, I mean, it's just, you're going through a lot of turbulence right now. Again, I think all of us, at least I feel I know much more now than I did the last 2 years. So hopefully going forward will be better.
Well, I mean, you still love it. And some of these coaches that have just had enough and are stepping away, I can just, you're going to keep rolling. And I like that because that, your buddy at Virginia, and I know he had his reasons and all, but I mean, some people are just getting fed up and just like, I'm sorry, I'm done with this. This is not what I signed up for. And quite honestly, it's not what a lot of you guys signed up for, but it's the system you have. Let me ask you about that game the other day. Cam Carr goes baseline and in a tough season, I mean, to me, there are some iconic moments, right, at Baylor. And VJ did some crazy stuff. And Terry Black back in the day, he has that famous one where he's jumping over Heinrich, I think the old Kansas guard. I mean, there have been some great dunks, but for the ferocity and just the best ones are ones that just kind of, the gym's sitting there. I mean, it's a close game, right? And then something just happens that just, it's almost like there's a moment of quiet because there's a collected almost shock. And I know you see these things in practice, but when you see it in a game like that, what does it do for your team and then just the fans and everything? Oh, look at that. That's good timing.
Wow, look at you. You guys are high tech over there.
Golly, man.
I tell you, look how blessed we've been to have some of the athletes we've had and some of the memorable dunks. And Cam's one of those guys that is such a blessing every day going to practice because you never know what you're going to see. And I mean, this team, record-wise, isn't where any of us have wanted to be right now. But as far as athletic players, I mean, Isaac Williams is extremely athletic. Obi, more athletic than people think. Tunde won the slam dunk contest in the McDonald's game. Cam's a walking highlight. Dan Skillings hadn't had a chance to have anything that he's had a couple in practice. Like we have some really exciting players, and when we don't turn it over and we can get out in transition, some good things can happen. So hopefully we see more of that toward the end of this season. And I tell you what, I thought really to start with the crowd was it was a great environment, brought a lot of electricity. And that's something that at the end of the day, we're so grateful and appreciative of because, again, people have options out there in life now. There's so many things they can do. And without us having the type of year that everybody would like to have, still to show up, support us, means a lot to the guys. The guys are still fighting. And I hope everybody enjoyed that afternoon against Arizona State. The great news is now you get one against Arizona on Tuesday. Whenever you're playing in the Big 12, you're coming to games where you're seeing guys that are going to be playing in the NBA in the future for hopefully 10, 15, 20 years, maybe 20 years. But you get to see them in college.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping to get for next year, right? You get a superstar like Koa Pete hurt, and I mean, again, I hope he's back for the tournament. I'd love to see him. I hope he doesn't get too healthy by tomorrow night, right? He's got that lower leg injury. But then, Tommy says, okay, Del Orso, we hadn't really been using you that much. And then Del Orso steps up and has like 2 straight 20-point games. Burry's unbelievable freshman. I mean, that team is loaded. Let me ask you on Cam, do you have ongoing conversations with a player like Cam during the season? Like he might come to you and go, hey, what do you think? Because he's being projected a certain place. We also know he could help you immensely moving forward. I mean, I can't imagine you wouldn't want a player like that to remain on your team, especially I've heard you talk about you would like to, keep a few players and not have to do what you did last year. Is that a conversation you just say, Cam, let's really table this and talk after the season, or is there a little ongoing communication about his future?
The great question. I think first and foremost, things can't be decided during the year. Very seldom, from the standpoint as we know, it's not like a marathon. Who's winning after mile marker 12 isn't who's leading after mile marker 20, and isn't where normally you finish the race. So at the end of the day, the great thing is players used to, if they were a first round pick, they would go to the draft. Even if they were a high second, maybe they would go. Nowadays, players can be a lot more selective, as we've seen, and say, hey, if I'm a top 20 pick or if I'm a lottery pick, I'll go. But I'm not going to risk trying to go at the end of the first round. And then if I slide to the second round, now I get non-guaranteed money. And so they have a viable option to come back to college. Hence why you have college basketball is the second best league in the world right now. People from Europe all want to come. People from colleges don't have to go to the professional ranks, and people playing in the G League. And shoot, if it's up to some NBA guys, I think they'd be back right now. So my point is, you got a great option, but as far as discussing it right now, that's not something, because we're not done yet. So in a long sense of the word, and then you have to decide: do they want to go through the combine? Do they want to go through workouts? Do they not want to do that? And again, as you know, things all change between now and the end of the season. So we just would try to get us to focus on winning the next day, winning today, winning the next game, and then that's the best way to project where the future is.
Okay. I may try to get Cam on, and I'll talk to him about it, even if you won't. Okay, I know you need to get going. I just wanted to say this: Isaac Williams. We focus a lot of times on the negative when you're having a rough season, which, by your standards, this is not a normal thing, but. This Isaac Williams, to go from, that's been your biggest problem. Obviously, you just, because of various reasons we've covered, you didn't have enough guards. You got one hurt, all that. We know it. But to see a kid go from kind of like, well, maybe we can play Isaac 8 to 10 minutes a game to your starting point guard, who's extremely hard to stop, who can finish at the rim, has gotten better with his three-point shot. That's got to be rewarding, because that gets you back into the developmental game. Now, you don't want to develop him for somebody else, right? Somebody else go, okay, we'll give you this. But that's got to be a pretty cool thing to see, the way that's been a very big success story for you this year.
Yeah, and I want to just stop with him. You can look at his shooting percentages from last year and compare them to now, from the 3-point to the free throws. Defensively, he's taken a step forward as he's learned our system. But I wouldn't stop with him. You look at Cam, because you've been talking about Cam. What was it? 2 games into the year, 3 games into the year, he already scored more than he did his first 2 years of college. So, he's been a great surprise this year for a lot of people, other than we knew, because we recruited him out of high school, we knew the potential, but obviously the first 2 years in college, people didn't get a chance to see it. So, and then our very own Caden Powell. Look how far he's come from Midway High School to Wyoming to Rice to competing in the Big 12. And he's done a great job in laying it out every night, laying it out on the line. He's first to the floor on a loose ball. So, we can go up and down. Everyone's had moments. At the end of the day, I think what's fair to say is, depending when you were born, there's some freshmen in our college that have never seen us have a losing season since birth, and we want to keep it that way. So we want to finish strong. We want to find a way to put ourselves in position to have some moments that everybody wants to talk about for this season, and go out on a high note. And then after that, I think case precedent says for the last 19 years, 18 years. We've been better most of those years. So we'll find a way to make sure that we're not in this position again next year. And I think, again, just the awareness of everything will definitely help not only our staff and university, just as we navigate the NLI space and the portal moving forward.
All right. And my headline on what you were talking about earlier with Cam is Rick Barnes couldn't unlock the kid, but Scott Drew could. That's what I'll go with. Scott will not participate in any of that because he is buddies with Rick Barnes. Scott, thank you. Always appreciate it. And hey, that's the great thing about the Big 12. It's the bad thing and the great thing is you can have a completely season-changing win that could really change some of the narrative. And not every conference gets that. So you have that tomorrow night. And yeah, that's it's a good luck to you. And I mean, I think it should be a great crowd and all of that. And who cares why they come out? Hopefully they come out to support the Bears. But if they come out and they want to see a number 2 team in the country or whatever, that's fine too, as long as they're in the building.
Well, I'm hoping they're number 1 after today's rankings. I don't know if they've come out yet.
We should have had that, but yes.
I didn't know if you would have that graphic or not, Mr. Mosley.
Yeah, I had one for you earlier, but yeah, I figured since I thought Duke probably since they beat Michigan might jump up there. But anyway, we'll get that for you in post-production. Thank you, Scott.
Hey, you have a blessed day. Thank you, guys. See you Tuesday.
Okay, we'll be there. It is Scott Drew joining the Matt Mosley Show, and always love having him on, and we get to cover a lot of ground. Man, what a day it's been, and we appreciate everybody. There's a lot to react to there, and we'll do that tomorrow on the show. I want to thank Kevin. Some great, he had to do a lot of producing today, put a lot of things together, and so very grateful for that. And we will see you tomorrow at 1:00.
As part of Central National Bank's partnership with Baylor Women's Basketball, we ask Coach Collin to take a shot at improving the efficiency of our drive-thru.
The lane is open! Drive the lane! Attack the lane! Go! 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 Go!
We have a few kinks to work out.
Is this what you had in mind when you invited her?
No. I think you should say something to her.
Me?
Let's make Craig do it.
Okay, yeah.
You're gonna take this canister and you're gonna shoot it up.
Be all right. Be all right. Just be confident. Hey, Coach. Can I have a word with you?
Craig, not right now. I'm with a customer.
Okay.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's internxt.com today.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo.
Experience with the Mosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
MosleyMD.com.
At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more.